My name is Jordan, and this is my digital storytelling presentation. So, just some of the basics of my family. I have somewhat of a complicated family tree. My mom and my dad actually had me while they were both in college here at UND. My dad was studying aviation, so as soon as he graduated, he started moving around as a young pilot. So I do have two totally separate sides. I've got my mom, who's remarried to my stepdad. She has three kids with him, so I have three siblings on that side. And then my dad is remarried in Dallas, and he has two little girls down there as well. So on the left side, that is my dad's side. That's actually my grandma on the far left there. And then on the right picture, that is my mom's side of the family. Okay, for my maternal roots, all of the ancestors on this side actually came straight to North Dakota, which I thought was very interesting. My grandfather's side came from the Czech Republic for farming and settled in a farmstead near Michigan, North Dakota, which is the same farmstead my grandparents still live in today. My grandpa still is very rich in his culture. He loves to read books that are bohemian. He often takes out his accordion when we go over there. Um, Oftentimes cooks authentic Czech food that includes like the pork, sauerkraut, dumplings, potatoes, sausage, and he loves polka. He oftentimes spends his day watching polka specials, and you'll always see him polkaing at the weddings. But my grandmother's side, she is a Riley, so pretty obvious, came from Ireland. Her mother's side actually came during the potato famine, and then her father's side came from Norway. They spoke both English and Norwegian. She oftentimes talks about when she was a kid going to her grandparents' house for Thanksgiving. A lot of the times, the family would be speaking Norwegian around the kids so that they didn't know what they were saying. But either side had very much money, so for the maternal roots, here's some pictures I found. My grandfather here on the left side often takes this old tractor every year to the Michigan Days, which is kind of like a party to celebrate Michigan. But so this was his great grandfather's tractor. He still has it up and running today, and he'll drive it around and put his little outfit on. This top right picture is a picture of my grandmother's family at Thanksgiving one year. So yeah, big families, those Irish families. And then down here below is a picture of my grandpa's favorite meal. He loves pork, the dumplings on the side, gravy. Pretty basic meal, but super good. So for my paternal side, it was a little harder for me to find this information just because my um, dad's side of the family does live far away, and it was just harder to find. But they all settled in Southern California. My grandma still lives there in Los Angeles. Her roots, the paternal side, her great great grandfather immigrated from Slovenia, and her great great grandmother immigrated from Mexico. They lived in Texas for a while and then eventually moved their way to Southern California before my grandmother was born. But then on her maternal side, her great great grandfather was in the cotton gin industry, grew up in the South in Tennessee, and then settled in Texas from Tennessee. So they both actually ended up in Texas, which I thought was very interesting, and then somehow ended up moving to California. So, some of my own life experiences. I grew up in Grand Forks with my mom and my stepdad. We had a single parent household for a few years. My dad moved pretty quick after he graduated just because of being a pilot and things. Um, I have three siblings here. My brother Noah is 11, my sister Avery is 14, and then my younger sister Josie would be 16. We kind of had a lower socioeconomic status for part of my childhood just because my mom was just still getting her footing settled because she was a college student with a young kid. I mean, it makes it very difficult. When I was probably in third grade, we had a natural gas leak in our home, which destroyed everything. We had to move out and move into her friend's one bedroom apartment, um, which was, it was me, my mother, my stepdad, and my two sisters at the time. So there were five of us, all in a one bedroom apartment for a year, which was very hard. We slept on mattresses on the floor and shared a bedroom, and it was difficult. But once we got our footing back, we moved into a house, and things just seemed to get a little bit better from there. But my sister did pass away from cancer in 2007, which was difficult for our whole family. Definitely gave me a more appreciation of life and how to treat people and just to appreciate the little things. It forced me to grow up a little bit because I did have to help my siblings through everything and just be there for them and help my mom out. I have always had a bigger age gap with my siblings, so I definitely kind of had to take a more, I don't want to say motherly approach, but just to help them out a little more. Also, having my dad as a pilot has always been hard. He's always lived very far away. In this top right picture, in both of the pictures, actually, that is my cousin with us. But we oftentimes got to visit wherever he was. So I got to go to Puerto Rico. When he lived there, he's moved in. He's moved to Texas, back to California. He's kind of been all over, but he now is pretty settled in Fort Worth. Um, so yeah, I've got two younger siblings, 3 months and 10 months, which is very different, but it's very fun to have some young bunches around. Um, so yeah, and then okay, so a reflection on everything. I definitely through life experiences have formed a different lens on life. Just with my sister passing and growing up in a lower socioeconomic house, um, you definitely have more of appreciation of the people around you and the experiences you have rather than the things you have. Um, I don't really like to stress too much about future plans. I think it's very important to just live in the moment and understand that things happen and realistically you can't always plan what's going to happen next. My past has also definitely shaped my interest in teaching just by being in the low income schools and having those connections with my teachers. It really opened my eyes to how much a teacher can change a kid's life, especially those who might not have everything. So with that, I just kind of have an interest in going on trips and backpacking, doing the van living. I put a picture of this little van here. I just think it'd be so cool to spend my summers traveling and doing like having the experiences rather than buying new things or things like that. But yeah, that's my presentation.